So it's been about 26 pages, and now we are finally getting to the Endora side of things when it comes to this Stripes and Links storyline. And just to keep, catch you guys up, excuse me there, but just to catch you guys up, long story short, and you can find most of the story up to the most recent page on the Sabrina Online website by Eric, that Eric W. Schwartz has up. Well, Eric W. Schwartz has up, I should say. I'm trying to pronounce his name right because my niece's fiance has the same kind of last name, similar. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to come on here and kind of give you guys, my thoughts on the recent page, but also kind of very quickly bring you up to date as to what, the reasoning is behind the story and its plot. And long story short, it focuses on Zigzag, who is a character created originally by Max Black Rabbit and used with permission and consent by Eric W. Schwartz, if you will. But anyway, in this story, Zigzag and Endora, who is Sabrina's mom, are out, at a bar having a girls' night out. Both are kind of getting a little tipsy, Zig more than Endora. And Endora basically asks her a question about whether or not she still feels kind of like attractive or still looks attractive or something like that. And Zigzag, compliments her and says, yeah, you're still very hot, in her own zigzaggish way. She's like, yeah, you're very hot. What are you talking about? And then just, I guess, out of the blue, she decides to kiss Endora on the lips, and Endora is in shock to the point that it's, and here's what's interesting about it too, and I pointed this out, and others have kind of alluded to this possibility happening. Basically, it's Zigzag that pulls away from the kiss. She's the one that initiates it, but it's Zigzag that pulls away, and Endora is in that complete shock, and Zigzag's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what I just did there. And Endora, basically, she's speechless at first, but then decides she's going to call her husband, Sabrina's dad, to come pick her up from the bar. And basically, she doesn't say anything to her husband about what happened, but does ask Sabrina to, find out from Zigzag herself. And Zigzag, feeling very stupid for what she did, and even explains it to Tabitha, her, I guess you could say her bisexual lesbian lover, if you will, or friend with benefit bisexual lover, what have you. Anyway, she explains it to Tabitha, and then I guess Tabitha kind of convinces her to tell Sabrina if, she comes and asks. And of course, Sabrina does come and ask. And yeah, Sabrina's not too happy at first, but is completely understanding when Zigzag kind of explains, hey, I stopped myself. I didn't mean for that to happen. It just did, and I'm sorry. And, Sabrina accepts that because Sabrina is understanding of Zigzag to the point that as long as they've known each other and have worked together, Sabrina can tell when Zigzag is telling the truth, being straight out honest. And Zigzag even tries to kiss her, basically on the lips a little bit, to kind of prove to Sabrina, the kind of reaction that she was hoping to get from Endora, but Endora's was just stunned silence. And Sabrina's reaction was like the complete opposite of that. She's like, Zig, knock it off. And Zig's like, hey, you see, that's what I expected. I didn't, that's what I expected because, I get it from you or several other people at times, but I didn't get it from her. And that's kind of the key because, she's wondering, all right, why is, her daughter, reacting that way, but she didn't. It's like something is, going off in her mind, like something is not connecting. Anyway, she goes and talks to this psychiatrist who's basically a persona, I'm trying to find the right word, persona of the creator Eric W. Schwartz. Basically, that's how some people perceive it, as him being a fusoid of anthropomorphic fusoid, persona, not fusoid, but persona anthropomorphic persona of Eric W. Schwartz, and obviously you could tell that it is kind of, he kind of based his character off himself. But anyway, they talk, they kind of talk about what happened. And basically it's done in a way to where it's not an appointment. He's not talking to her as a psychiatrist or a therapist, but, just as a friend with benefits. And the way they concluded, of course, is, with the friends with benefit kind of manner. Basically they end up doing it with each other. Let's put it that way. But anyway, she goes to Tabitha, who is staying with her because Tabitha is transitioning from different homes and everything, moving. And basically, she decides she's going to go on a road trip to kind of find out, what in her past is always triggering her, or at least on occasions, triggering her, to be this way, to be, basically act very impulsive, with what she does without thinking. And she invites Tabitha to go with her, and they even reminisce of how they first met, the first go-around together, because Tabitha used to work for another adult studio, if you will, another adult triple X, studio. And she goes into this club, and basically this, strip club, if you will, and she sees Zigzag there, and Zigzag is presented as basically the be-all, end-all, when it comes to dancers. And she wants to talk with her, and Zig thinks at first, this is kind of new to me. I've always had a man come in and want, quality time to a woman. But, anyway, Tabitha basically talks her out of that for the moment by saying, oh, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk to you about maybe going forward, maybe progressing with your career into a more financial and more, safer environment, more sanitized and stuff like that. And Zigzag's like, oh, wow, that's kind of a surprise. I didn't expect that. It's better than, doing the thing. And Tabitha's response is, well, maybe, you could still do that. Well, let's not put that to waste. So they end up, doing the thing, at the same time that Tabitha is, essentially recruiting her to be part of her adult studio, where she is a star herself. And this is in their flashback, where they're reminiscing. And long story short, they decide, or at least Zigzag decides, like I said, to go on the road trip. We go because, again, this is what I just mentioned to you, is them reminiscing, flashing back to when they first met. But like I said, Zigzag then decides, as I mentioned earlier, she's going to go on this road trip to find out, what's in her past that's causing her to act the way she does on occasions where she impulsively decides to, throw herself at somebody and make out with them, whether they like it or not, or whether they welcome it or not, And she invites Tabitha to go with her, and Tabitha says, sure, no problem. We haven't done that in a while. And again, that's, and basically that, I should say, is what leads into the flashback I just mentioned. So Zigzag decides, okay, we're going to go on this trip, but because she's who she is, she doesn't want to, get, distracted with being recognized, so she disguises herself in a very un-Zigzag-like, outfit. Basically, she has like a cap. It's not a ball cap, but it's kind of like one of those beach caps, if you will, or sun caps, or whatever they are. It's kind of like a fedora, but it's down a little bit. Kind of, it shades your head and your eyes, a little bit of your upper face from the sun. She wears that, a t-shirt and a jacket, and, off they go. And even Tabitha is joking when she sees this, like, oh, what grudge band are we going to go see? But anyway, they're on the way, and they stop at a place to get gas, and Zigzag basically comes back. They don't get the gas or any, like, snacks or anything because, she offers, I guess, offers herself to get something, to get it for free, but she gets tossed. And she's happy that happened because it proves that what she's wearing as a disguise makes it, impossible for anybody to believe she's who she is. They don't recognize her. So anyway, like I said, she and Tabitha go on this trip to find out exactly what in her past, Zigzag past, causes her on occasions to do what she did to Endora. But then we take a break from that, and we take a break from that and transition in the most recent part, page 26, if you will, part 26, if you will, where Sabrina shows up at her parents' house with her daughter, and her daughter, much to everybody's surprise, is a lot bigger and older than the last time they saw her. Her daughter, if I can, let me see if I can get on here. Hold on. No, what am I doing? I got to get over to Patreon, if you will. Oh, and by the way, I have to correct myself on something. Tabitha is not the name of the bisexual friend with benefit lover that Zigzag goes with. It's Tina. Tina is the name. Tabitha is the name of Sabrina's younger sister. Yeah. So I got to correct myself. It's Tina. I know some people are going to be listening to this and be like, "Why is he calling Tina Tabitha?" No, it's actually Tina, who is the friend of Zigzag that goes with her on the trip. That the one that recruited her back in the day and everything and all that. Tina is her name. So I have to correct myself on that. Tabitha is the name of Sabrina's sister, younger sister. And anyway. To get back to on point here, Sabrina shows up at her parents, and she asks Tabitha, her sister. Again, Tabitha is her sister, not the girl that went with Zigzag. That's Tina, and I know again people might correct me. That's Tina, so I do apologize about that. I was just thinking about that was the first name that came to my mind. I do apologize, but yeah, Tina is the friend of Zigzag, the bisexual lover and all that, friend with benefit that goes with her on the trip, that recruited her back in the day to work at the same adult studio she did. So that's Tina. Tina is a lynx, if you will. She's a lynx. A lynx. 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 That's what she is. That's Tina. That's, again, Zigzag's friend. Tabitha is Sabrina's sister, younger sister. Anyway, Sabrina, like I said, shows up at her parents and asks Tabitha to keep Daniela, her daughter, busy. And what's crazy is a lot of people saw this and they're like, man, how much time has passed? Daniela looks like she's about almost half the size of Tabitha. It's like Tabitha's grown. We see that. We've seen her grow up. And now Daniela is around, about almost like to the halfway point of Tabitha. So Tabitha keeps her busy by, them wanting to talk about, apps on their phones. Because, yes, Daniela has a phone. Or at least it's a phone Sabrina used to have. So anyway, Sabrina asks ask her dad how her mom is, her mom being Endora. And he says, she hasn't changed, she hasn't said much, nothing changed. So Sabrina goes to her mom and says, hey, can we talk about what happened and all that? And Endora's trying to play it off like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. What do you want to talk about and everything? And Sabrina has to basically look her straight in the eye and be like, Mom, I know. Zigzag told me everything. And Endora's still trying to play it off. And she's like, Mom, I told you. Zigzag told me everything. I want to hear it from you. Because that's basically what this part is about. Sabrina wants to hear it from Endora, as to, why Endora didn't, push, Zigzag off her when she did it. And it was Zigzag that took that initiative. Like what happened? She wants to know. And I think what's happening here is we're going to get to we're going to get to the nitty gritty, if you will, finally, as to why Endora didn't do what Sabrina did. She didn't push off or anything, when Zigzag kissed her, and it was Zigzag that, again, initiated that action when she realized what she was doing. So I think we're going to find out a little bit about Endora's background, and I'm not going to be surprised. If we find out that Endora, I'm not going to be surprised about this. I'm not, but I've got a feeling we're going to find out that maybe Endora has a bit of a bisexual, lesbian past. And that kiss triggered something in her, and which is why she doesn't want to talk about anything, because she doesn't want Sabrina or her husband, Sabrina's dad, to know that, I guess before she met Sabrina's dad, she was, dating whoever she could and, getting it on with whoever she could. But I don't know. That may be revealed. That may not be revealed. Today, I have a feeling today, if not tomorrow, we're going to get page 27, because it's been a week. This is kind of like a weekly release that Eric puts out on Patreon. So basically we might get the next part today, maybe tomorrow. But I've got a feeling we're going to start getting a little bit more, I should say, background, a little bit more information on Endora and her past. Because again, Zigzag kissed Sabrina to kind of show her the reaction she was expecting. Because Sabrina pushed her off like, hey, knock it off, and everything. And Zigzag is like, hey, and Zigzag basically by doing that is like, hey, see, that's what I expected out of your mom, but it didn't happen. So I think basically what we're going to get, like I said, is possible revelation to Endora's past that might even not only shock Sabrina, but might shock her dad. And I think that's why Sabrina basically had her sister Tabitha, who is her sister, not the friend of Zigzag, because Zigzag's friend, like I said, is Tina, a lynx, if you will, that she's traveling with. But anyway, I got a feeling that's why she's asking Tabitha to keep her daughter Daniela busy, because they might find out some information that's not appropriate for either ears, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I've got a feeling that's what's going to happen next, because she's telling her mom straight out, hey, I know. Zigzag told me. Now I want to hear it from you. And she's probably going to press her like, look, she's going to probably press her mom being like, Zigzag told me she's the one that stopped herself stopped herself mid-kiss. Oh, she was kissing her, or kissing you. She stopped herself. She realized what she was doing and she pulled back. You didn't do nothing. Why didn't you push back? Why didn't you do what I would do? And I think by asking her a question like that, like, hey, why didn't you push back? Like, hey, do what I would do, push back and tell her to stop. And instead it was her that realized what she was doing. And I think, again, that's where we'll find out more about her past. And it's going to be one that's really going to surprise people, like, wait a minute. So Endora was a wild child when she was, when she was young, before she met her husband and everything. She was a wild child of a party animal that liked to not just, go out and have fun and party, but also get it on with whoever. I think that's what's going to get revealed. And it's going to be a shocker. Because here's the thing. Ever since Endora and Zigzag met, they've kind of had a bit of a friendly chemistry. Like, Zigzag does see her like the mother she never had, but also looks at her as a best friend, as a BFF she could just hang out with, have a few drinks, have a good time, and that's it, and nothing more. But I think a lot of fans have always sensed that there's a bit of an attraction between them, more so Endora to Zigzag. And I'm not going to be surprised, and I said this before, I'm not going to be surprised if we get a spin-off story, maybe two, that center around this Stripes and Links story, or at least take place, in between the Stripes and Links story. I'm not going to be surprised if we get a spin-off in the Fur After Dark series, which is a spin-off of the Sabrina series. I would not be surprised if we get a spin-off comic or two where we have Tabitha and Zigzag, Tabitha Lynx, that's her name, not Tina. Tina the Lynx, sorry, too many T's. But Tina the Lynx and Zigzag on the trip, and then, on occasions getting it on with each other, stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get, a little spin-off comic, that connects to this right now, or connects to this current story arc. And I won't be surprised if we get one between Zigzag and Endora. So that way it kind of, brings a closure to this, to where Endora and Zigzag will finally do the thing. And, Endora can get this, like, this pent-upness that she probably has hidden within, and that's slowly been woken up because of what happened. She's trying to hold back because of her past, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one of those two, one, if not both of those kind of comics in the Fur After Dark spin-off series of stories, which is a spin-off of Sabrina. But yeah, I have a feeling that might be what he's going to do if he isn't already planning to do it. But long story short, when you look at this story up to now, up to page 26, part 26, if you read through it thoroughly, you will definitely see that there's something being built towards. And whether it does take place in the main comic, but very subtly, or, like I said, it might, result in not one, but two spin-off comics in Fur After Dark, one between Tina and Sabrina, where they do the thing where they're traveling to find out why Sabrina, not Sabrina, but why Zigzag, I should say, does what she does, and that's Tina and Zigzag. Again, too many names here, I do apologize. But why Zigzag does what she does, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a comic that focuses on that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we also get one between her and Endora. Don't be surprised if that occurs. Don't be. But anyway, like I've said before, I would recommend checking this out. Again, you can find all the panels up to the most recent one on the Sabrina Online website. I think you will enjoy what you see. And again, I've got a feeling we're going to find out more about Endora's past. We're going to find out that she was a bit of a wild child, party animal, that loved to have fun and then get it on with whoever she could, male or female. I would not be surprised if we find out more about that. And if that does get revealed. And I'm not going to be surprised, like I said, if we get spin-off comics in Fur After Dark with Tina and Zigzag in one, possibly, doing the thing where they're traveling, and then maybe as a closure resolution, we get something between Endora and Zigzag as well to kind of close things out. But anyway, so far I'm liking the story. I'm liking what Schwartz is doing, and I highly recommend, if you haven't read them yet, check them out. They are on Sabrina Online. They are on the Sabrina Online website, as well as you can donate $1 to Patreon, and you will get, a look at You'll get a look at each panel or each comic page, I should say, 1 week before it officially goes on the Sabrina Online website. But anyway, though, guys, that's all I can say for right now. I do recommend, like I said, checking it out. I think you will like what you see. And that's really all I can say. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. Also, click on the link in the description to go to my Teespring store. The links will be at the bottom of the description. Go to my Teespring store. Check out some merchandise there you can't get anywhere else. I think you'll enjoy what you can find in time for the fall season. From long sleeve shirts to mugs to mouse pads, you name it. There's something there for everyone. Also, check out where you can find me elsewhere from DeviantArt.com at BVW1979. Also, check me out at Rumble.com at BW Rosas, Odyssey.com, BW Rosas, Vimeo, BW Rosas. You'll find me there. Also, go to your favorite podcast outlets like iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify for podcasters, Radio Public, and so on, iTunes. And you'll find my podcast channel there. It is up to date, and more will be coming, including this as well. And I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you're on the road traveling or in a plane traveling. You will be able to listen to my thoughts on just about anything I can come up with or think of or want to discuss. Also, there is a Venmo and a Cash App. If you want to help donate there, it'd be greatly appreciated. Also, Super Thanks will be open after the premiere of this video, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed already, will have Super Chats. As mentioned in the description, Super Chats will be open if you want to donate there as well. But guys, give me your thoughts on this current storyline of Sabrina Online. Where do you think it is heading? Where do you think it is heading? Do you think we will get a revelation that Endora might have a bit of a wild child past to her, to where she likes to party and also get it on with whoever, male or female? Let me know. Also, do you think we might get some spin-offs in the Far After Dark series connected to this? One with Tina and Zigzag, and maybe even one to kind of bring closure to this between Endora and Zigzag. Let me know if you think that's going to happen. And again, I do apologize for mixing up the two characters. Like I said, Tabitha is Sabrina's sister, and Tina is the one traveling with Zigzag, not Tabitha. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. And until then, I am out.